with me in the booth. Guys, we are ready to tee it up. And the Golden Gophers will put total leather and we'll get started. Fielded in the end zone. It's Moore. Rolling the dice to bring it out of the end zone did not work out as he stopped at the 13. Quarterback may change this route. To the air on first down. Got a man. It's Brown. Ernie on the Jets. Stopped at the 28, but a big 15-yard pickup gives him some breathing room. That big pickup on what they call the drag route, but if you hit it on time, you can hit the turbo boosters.
And you've got to be accurate on the throw, too, Reese. Nice job by the QB there, putting it out in front of his receiver to make an easy catch and then advance it.
Finds a seam. Oh, he's got some space. Touchdown, Blue Devils. And once he found open space, the band might as well start playing.
Quarterback's abilities to read the field is huge, and also the anticipation, the timing. To be able to throw the football, Jesse, and hit a guy in stride so he can get run after the catch and get in the end zone, that was a nice job by the quarterback.
Yeah, it's critical, David. Listen, a lot of times, touchdown passes aren't thrown into the end zone. You've got to read the coverage, hit the open guy, and let him do the rest.
It bounds through the back of the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. Snags a quick pass on the left. Gets it up to the 35-yard line before going out of bounds.
Well, your opponent scored on their opening drive, so obviously no need to panic. But I know, having been in this situation as a quarterback, you want to answer right away. So really good to see him making some nice throws here on their opening drive. He's going to try and see if he can get this thing tied up.
An explosive play in the running game as he's got the first down.
You know, as a defense, you can have the right call and the right guy in the right spot, but that guy's just too good. And how about the running back on that play? Just making it happen, breaking off the huge gain. It's tough to get these guys on the ground.
They go to the wide receiver screen. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there, still a bit short of the first down.
My old coach said you'll never go broke taking a profit. Take what's there, take the positive yards, and never complain.
The Golden Gophers with a second and short to keep this drive moving. Quarterback run is part of their game plan. And this one will be stopped for no gain. And the Golden Gophers come to the line on third down, trying to keep this drive alive. Looking to throw, it's Lindsey. Wide open downfield. They'll pick up enough yardage for the first down. They've got it at the 30.
That's really got to make this offensive coordinator feel good calling plays. You get a completion on third down early in the game, and he should be having a lot of confidence now.
Under pressure, and down he goes at the 33.
And the defense gets a sack, and that's going to be the big determining factor in this football game. A week ago, he only got sacked one time. They've already got him on the ground. If they want to win this football game, they got to keep getting after the quarterback.
Back to pass. Fires toward the end zone. Picked off. That's number 15 on the year.
And some defensive backs just have a way of finding the football. He's starting to develop that. His third interception on the season just has a good feel for playing that spot in the back end.
They're going to open this drive with a pass. Catch in the middle. It's Anthony. Gets it to the 46-yard line. First down for this offense. The Blue Devils moving quickly to the line. Looking to throw on first down. Dumps it to the back. And the defense making a play and getting a hand on that pass.
Well, that one falls incomplete, but you know this guy is a big part of their passing attack. You saw the last game out, he had multiple catches from the running back position. They're going to try to get that established in this game.
Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on second down. Quarterback making checks. Second down, they'll go to the air. He's going for a big play downfield. Makes a grab for a big play. Oh, he thought for sure he was going to be able to house that one, but a huge pickup all the way down to the 12. Wants to go up top on first down. Makes the catch. And he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Duke.
One of the reasons this offense is so exciting to watch, they've got guys that are dangerous after the catch. And if this quarterback gets through his progression, David, hits you in stride, these guys will take it to the house.
Man, it's your job to do the rest, right? You hit me in stride where I don't have to stop running, I don't have to break down. It makes it so easy. The connection between quarterback, wide receiver, you can tell this is a good one, and that's why they got 6 on that play.
The kickoff bounces through the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 25. The drive starts from their own 25-yard line. Wide receiver comes in motion. Pulled and finds his man on the left. And they pick up just a few on that completion.
This quarterback right now is in a groove, and he's doing a nice job in pre-snap. He's reading the coverage, and he's getting an idea of where he wants to go with the football. That's why the ball's coming out of his hands so quickly, and that's why he seems like he's in a great rhythm right now.
Throws for the tight end. Nearly picked off there, and he might be the last guy on the field you'd expect to drop that one. It'll be third down. Trying to pick up a first down. Dropping back, it's Lindsey. Going up top. And they wanted it all on third down, but now dealing with fourth down.
The defense is in great position right now because they've got a huge lead here in the fourth quarter. They know the offense has to take shots to try to get themselves back in the game. So they're calling their coverages accordingly, and there was nowhere to go with that football. Really nice job by the defense being in position to force the incompletion.
And the Duke offense heads back out onto the field. They put 2 touchdowns on the board in the early going, and now right back to work. Throws to the wideout. Got his man downfield. Touchdown, Blue Devils! All that baby in and then strolled into the end zone for the score. They've extended the lead and taken control here in Week 9.
They are absolutely boat racing this team right now. We're not even at the second quarter yet, and this offense has been up and down the field. They've taken a huge lead early. Everything they're dialing up, David, is working.
Yeah, so I'm going to flip this to the other side. I'm going to need my offense to score some points, and in a hurry. Like, they got to figure it out, but they got to put a drive together, keep us off the field, score some points, and let us find some answers, because right now, defensively, we have none.
That ball skips through the end zone. It's a touchback, and they'll take over at the 25-yard line. They'll put this one in play. First snap of the drive from the 25. They'll go to the toss. It's a running room. Big pickup on the ground here to keep this drive moving and give them a first down.
And this is a really good job of getting on the perimeter so quickly. When you run these tosses, you get away from the big boys. And when you got speed in the backfield, let them do the rest, right? Flip it to him, let him get outside, let him run the football and make a big gain. When you got speed at the running back spot, you definitely want to toss it to him and get him on the perimeter.
And he finds some solid space, makes a nice game before the defense is able to stop him. The Golden Gophers in a good spot here with second and short. Handoff to the fullback. They'll wrestle him down just short of the first down. I don't even think they're going to bring out the chains to measure this one. Ball's at the 47. They're looking at a 3rd down and short. Running into the open space. It's a seam wide open. Inside the 15. Out of bounds at the 14-yard line. The offense looking for a score.
3rd down and inches. Everyone in the stadium knows they're going to be physical and they're going to run the football, but they still executed a good level. Not only picking up the first down, chewing up more yardage to make this drive even easier.
Pass is broken up, incomplete as they were trying to strike for 6.
And you'll see this with offenses sometimes, man. They make a big play, they're going to stay aggressive, but the defense did a great job. You gave up one big play, don't give up another one. They were prepared for it. Nice job defending the pass.
Stopped at the 13-yard line as they try to turn this into points.
And listen, it's tough. It's a tough proposition. This is a top 10 defense against the run. You know they're physical. You know who they are. But you're not going to bat an eye. And you're going to challenge your guys, especially in the red zone, to be more physical, to be able to continue to run the football against a really good defense.
They've got to come up with a big play on this 3rd and long. They'll run the toss. And the defense is swarming to keep him from getting to the first down. And the Golden Gophers racing to the line in the hurry-up. Give to the fullback. They stop him short of the marker, and they'll turn it over on downs.
And how about it? They give it to the muscle on 4th down. The big fullback, try to let him plow his way for the first down. The defense was having none of it. Stopped on 4th down. First down going the other way.
Looking to the big tight end. Soft spot in the middle. Stopped at about the 25-yard line, but it'll be a first down.
Well, this defense is being challenged, and this secondary in particular, and I know a DB made the tackle there, but we're only in the 2nd quarter, and already this quarterback has over 200 yards passing.
Good hands in there by the defense to force the incompletion.
Yeah, I don't know if the quarterback got confused on first down. He might have thought the defense was going to be in man coverage that time, but they were in zone. They fooled him, and just didn't seem like he had his eyes in the right place, was forcing that ball to his intended target. The window way too small. The guy was not open, so that didn't have that chance to be complete.
That's caught. It's Brown. And the ball's on the ground. Oh, and just like they drew it up, put it on the ground, fall on top of it, still get the first down.
Good awareness by the offense. You never want to see the ball on the ground, but a nice job understanding to just kind of jump on it and make sure you keep possession.
Minnesota 0.
So after the break, they'll go back to work. He might want another play. He wants to throw it again. Takes a hit as he fires. Makes a connection. And they're getting it rolling with that play to the 42-yard line. This guy is just wearing them out. Another first down, already has a couple of touchdowns in the first half, David.
He has been a problem for this defense. And if I'm this offense, I'm going to continue to feature him. He's winning his matchups. I'm going to find him. It's just the first half, and he's already had himself a full game's worth of stats.
From the red zone, looking for a space. Plucks it out of the air. The ball is down at the 14 after that grab. Second down coming up on this red zone opportunity. Looking to fire. Unleashes to the end zone. Fires into traffic. Intercepted. He's knocked down, but what a play to come up with the interception.
Well, the defense does an awesome job here with their backs against the wall in their own red zone, coming away with an INT early. That could be a big game-changing type play in this game.
This drive will start at the 6-yard line. Gets the back moving. They'll run the option. And he is just engulfed at the line by this giant defensive tackle.
And that just looked off. The timing, the rhythm, I don't know what it was, but usually that option, man, it's so precise, right? Like really quickly making a read, and you could tell they weren't on the same page. It went absolutely nowhere. Defense won that round.
I just think such a big part of this offense is being physical and establishing the run game. They haven't had a lot of success offensively early in this one, and that's why right there, they're not able to get this guy going yet. That's got to change as this game goes on.
He is not going to get there. Stop short of the line to gain, and it'll be 4th down. The offense failed to convert on 4th down earlier, but that didn't change their thinking here. He'll try to throw and pick up the 1st down. Makes the grab, plenty for the 1st down. And they finally get him to the ground. An easy conversion for this offense. Defense, not exactly the perfect 4th down call there.
And they're showing you their intentions early in the game. It's 4th down, you're in your own end. We're going to be aggressive, and we're not just going to do this early. We're going to do this all game long. Awesome execution on a critical down.
Is incomplete. It leads to 2nd down.
Backed up now, here's 2nd and long. Looking for a man. It's Lindsey. He's got his man. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground to cover to pick up the 1st. On 3rd and short, they'll try to convert through the air. That's reeled in. It's Coleman. He'll be stopped about 2 yards short of a 1st down. On 4th down, they'll throw for it. Big tight end makes the grab. 1st down, still on his feet. Well, they just drained all the suspense out of the 4th down conversion, moving the chains easily.
Well, it wasn't a great start for this quarterback, but on this drive, he seems to be turning the corner. He just looks like he's playing in a different rhythm. He's seeing the field better. It's almost as if the game is starting to slow down for him. And I think on that last completion, it was a good example of that.
He's in open space downfield. And a good job of coverage by that defense, just a short pickup. Plenty of work to do here on 2nd and long. Wants to go up top. Finds the tight end. The ball is down at the 14 after that grab. Really good job working through his progression. You get it to him quickly, and the big tight end has a chance to run a little.
And a really good job by the QB throwing an accurate throw. I got to hit those guys on the move, on the run, so they can do this. They can catch the football, get upfield, and chew up some extra yards.
Well, it's a nice job by the quarterback getting the ball out of his hands quickly on that RPO. He saw something he liked, just not on the same page with his receiver.
Operating in the red zone here on 2nd down. Caught in the backfield. It's Taylor. They'll get it down to the 8-yard line on that throw and catch, and the defense is backed up against the wall.
Well, that completion now sets up a critical 3rd down here in the red zone for this quarterback. His offense, his team, is trailing by a lot. They're going to need him to start making plays consistently, and he's going to have to do it when the defense knows he's about to throw it. And that's exactly the situation right here. 3rd down in the red zone.
And he cruises his way to the house. Touchdown, Minnesota!
Love the individual effort here by the wide receiver. After he has the ball, able to make people miss. You see the speed as he goes in for the touchdown.
And after the extra point, they're now down 21-7. Precise, relentless execution on that 13-play scoring drive. The kickoff unit is out there, and boy, did that last drive quiet this crowd. And he's going to bring this one out. And the ball's free, deep in his own territory. Now look what I found. I'd say that's a stroke of good fortune. The offense keeps it. Plenty of time left in the half here as they take over, but they will want to be efficient here in the final 2 minutes. He wants to start this drive with a pass. And it slips through his fingers, incomplete. That would have been a huge gain if he could have squeezed it.
And that's not a surprise for this offense, man. They continue to find him. He's made those big plays. He's put some touchdowns on the board. He's been the big play guy in this offense. And I don't think I'd stop either. We're still getting started in this football game, and they're going to see more of those deep shots to him.
Oh, he's going to try to hit him deep. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers.
Well, if at first you succeed, try again. They've already linked up twice for touchdown passes, so no question the quarterback here still in the first half looking for his go-to guy, but you got to give the defense credit there. They were expecting it, and they were able to make sure that one fell incomplete.
On third down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. Pulls it in down the sideline. And they are pushing the ball down the field. A big pickup on that one, and the tackle is finally made. This offense capable of exploding at any moment. Now they're set up inside the 30 with a first. Throws toward the end zone. Touchdown, Duke! Snagged in the end zone to give them 6.
Big-time players make big plays in big games, man. It seems like each and every week when this guy has an opportunity in the end zone, he's coming up with the big one. That time, great job focusing and concentration. Defense not able to cover him. That's his now 10th receiving touchdown on the year.
And with the extra point, they push the lead out a little further. Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
Guys, a couple of ACC teams colliding in a game that could have some implications. Texas is painting an offensive masterpiece so far. It's been like a Bob Ross masterclass. They're up 14 over Louisville. We'll circle back if anything changes in this big-time ACC matchup. Guys?
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. A lot of work to do as this drive will start from the 16-yard line. Got it behind the line. It's Taylor.
One of the things you love about this running back is not only can he run between the tackles, but he's also a weapon in this offense catching the football.
Oops, someone moved just a bit early, and the offense is going to pick up a penalty. So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. They'll line up with trips to the right side on 2nd and 6. Looking for a man. It's Lindsey. Snagged in the middle. It's Coleman. Building momentum, picking up a chunk of yardage, moving the chains out to the 34. Wants to throw on first down off the play fake. Rushes on him. Oh, he wants it all. Picked off, and they ruin an early drive with the turnover. Trying to take it back. And a big return after the INT sets up the offense for this possession.
Well, that's a huge moment here in the game at the end of the first half because the offense is trying to march down the field and trying to cut into the opponent's lead. But with that interception and with that return, the defense now, they've put their team in an opportunity to pad their lead with more points here at the end of the first half.
And the Blue Devils want to pick up the tempo. Looking to go up top, and time's running out in the half. Got out of trouble and throws. Caught near the sticks. It's Anthony. Tackle is made at the 33. It's about a 5-yard pickup, and that'll be enough for a first down. Looking downfield on first down. Throws to the tight end. Grabbed in the middle. It's King. Right on the money with that throw. The defense was there, but they are in the red zone with a first down at the 12. One more play before the teams head to the locker rooms. Wants to throw on first down. The pass falls incomplete, and that's how we'll finish this half. That's going to wrap up the first half here, and now we join Kevin with the halftime update. The Blue Devils will line up to kick off and start the second half. The ball bounces through the end zone, and it will be a touchback. The drive starts from their own 25-yard line. Going to the run to start this second half. A collision, and he stopped at the 27 after picking up 1.
It's definitely too early to panic, but there's some bad feelings going on for this offense right now. You're way down on the scoreboard. I know we're still in the first half, but after that last play, it's pretty obvious. You can't run the ball. You're becoming a one-dimensional offense at a time when you need to be able to score some points. So either get it done through the air or you've got to be...
He's going to let one fly down the middle. Catch inside the 25. Defense makes a stop, but the chains move, and it's 1st and goal from the 8.
Defense is a lot about communication. Multiple wide receivers on the same side. I got to understand if this guy's going in, this guy's coming out. Not a good job by the defense with communication there.
Grabbed behind the line. It's Coleman. Got the completion, but nowhere to go as that defense reacted quickly. To the air, it's Lindsey. Lets it fly. And that one is right on target if his target was the first row.
Well, you can see the frustration on this guy's face. He's one of the best receivers in college football, and they knew coming into this game that he had to get touches, but you can't say enough about how good this defense has been defending him. They've always had an answer, whether it's single coverage, double coverage, man or zone. They have not let him go off, and that's a big reason why they're winning this game.
A famous writer once said, most men lead lives of quiet desperation. Here is a desperate move, going for it on 4th down, trailing by double figures. Wants to go up top. Bring in the heat. Throw into the end zone, and it's picked off. Looking for more room. The 50, the 40, at the 20. Touchdown, Blue Devils. The defense does the work itself with a pick 6.
Man, the offense rolls the dice. They want 6. They choose not to kick a field goal. They choose to be aggressive, and man, do they make a big mistake. Throw the football, intercepted. Not only that, he takes it all the way back to the house. What a momentum swing in this football game.
They're set to kick it off, and this crowd now ready to get behind them. That one bounds through the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. They'll put this one in play. First snap of the drive from the 25. Looking downfield, it's Lindsey. Got it in the middle, it's Tracy. Looking for room at the 40. To the 43-yard line, and a 1st down for this offense.
That's a huge throw for the offense, but they're down by a ton. They're going to need a lot more of that, and it's not going to be easy considering the defense knows they're probably going to be throwing the ball every play here in the second half moving forward.
Looking to throw on 1st down. Fires to the wideout. Complete downfield. Big pickup on that one. They'll mark him out at the 40.
I know the offense is down by a lot here in the second half. You just need one big play, though, to spark the offense, get the confidence going, and they may have found it right there in that completion. Good throw, good catch. Now we got to keep it going.
They have a 1st down at the 41-yard line. To the air on first down. Catch in the middle, it's Coleman. Now he's got it all the way down to the 21-yard line, and they are threatening on first down.
QBs, when they see these zone coverages, man, some of them panic. Some of them throw it too quickly and can make bad decisions. I like how he waited a little bit, waited for the right window, the right opportunity. There's always going to be holes in zones. I just got to be a little bit patient.
And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces second down.
This offense hasn't been able to generate a lot of points in this one. Here in the third quarter, you're seeing the defense and how much pride they take on being physical. It's not just stopping the run. Guys in the back end flying to the football in the air, getting hits on guys, that time on the receiver, knocking it loose.
Going up top again. Throws for the tight end. And it was worth the gamble, but the long pass is incomplete.
All right, you got to be careful here if you're the quarterback, right? Back-to-back incompletions. You've had a nice drive. You're still in field goal range, though. Think about this. You cannot take a sack. That has got to be what the play caller is reminding his quarterback about in the headsets right now. If it's not there, throw this thing away because we've got a chance to at least get 3 points here.
Back to pass, it's Lindsey. Fires to the middle. It's caught downfield. Works his way to the 4-yard line, and they'll have it first and goal. The Golden Gophers are in the hurry-up. From the gun. Grabbed in the backfield, it's Taylor. And he'll run it into the end zone. Touchdown, Golden Gophers! Sometimes we ask coaches about halftime adjustments, and they go blah, 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 blah. But then sometimes they make some good ones.
Sometimes that blah, 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 blah actually works, but it's working now. But it might be too little too late, but at least you got the party started.
And the extra point is good. They still trail 35-14. That is an efficient drive. 7 plays, 75 yards. And they cap the drive with a 4-yard touchdown pass. After that score, they'll try to build some momentum here in the third quarter and get it back with an onside kick. It looked as if he got a hand on it before it traveled 10 yards, and that's going to be a penalty. They were trying to steal a possession to draw a little closer in this game, but the ball didn't go 10 yards, so they'll take over the football with the lead. Bunch formation for these receivers. Going to take a shot. He's got it inside the 15. They get him corralled, but not until he's in the red zone. They'll mark it at the 14.
Man, we knew coming into this game just how explosive this offense could be, and a big part of that is their ability to throw the football. They've scored a ton of points, and it's because they can generate plays like that. When this quarterback sees the one-on-one matchup he wants, he is not afraid to pull the trigger, and he hits a big throw there.
They've marched to the red zone, and here they go. And he was drilled just as he released the pass. It's incomplete.
And finally, the defense is able to get some pressure on this quarterback. They had been trying all game long different ways to affect him, weren't able to get there. But on that play, because of the pressure, it affected his accuracy, and that's why the ball falls incomplete.
He wants it all. To the end zone, and it's picked off.
And that's just a force by the quarterback. They're throwing it into cover 3. It's a zone coverage, and if you're going to try to throw it deep down the middle, you need another route to occupy the safety and take him away. There was nothing there that time. That's just way too easy of an interception for him.
They are pinned deep in their own territory. They'll snap it from their own... Oh, a lot of space. Pass the sticks, and he may get more. Really good job by everybody there. Well blocked, good run, and a first down.
And after giving up a long run defensively, they don't have a chance to substitute now. They've got to get ready to go because the offense is going tempo.
Knocked down behind the line of scrimmage, he'll lose a yard.
Well, it's a negative play trying to run the football, and I think if you're on offense, you got to be thinking about throwing it now. You're trailing by a lot. You got to get back in this game. You need tempo, and you need explosive plays through the air.
The short hands, it's Tracy. He'll go out of bounds at the 28-yard line, and deep in your own end, you need plays like that.
And I think this receiver's forte is his route running. He's a guy that can line up all over the field, but it's not just catching post routes and goes. This guy can run shallows, he can run slants, he can run the option routes and find soft spots in the defense. This guy really has all the routes in his toolbox.
Scanning the field, it's Lindsey. Here's the pressure. Couldn't hang on to that one. This defense has already picked off 3 passes, almost had the 4th. It'll be 2nd down.
And that's a big shot, and that's a big incompletion, but this offense has to continue to do more of that. When you're trailing and you've got to make plays, they got to find creative ways to push this ball down the field and get this offense in a flow.
They're dealing with a 2nd and long. After the incompletion, back to the passing game. He's not afraid to go deep. Reels it in down the left side. And he was on his way. Gets it all the way to the 38th.
Well, how about the offense setting that play up? We've seen earlier in the game a couple shorter throws. They're just trying to suck those safeties closer to the line of scrimmage, anticipating that they would get an opportunity to take a shot. They called the perfect play at the perfect time right there.
Looking to throw on 1st down. Unloads to the wideout. And the defense forced that incompletion with the deflection.
And this guy has been so important to this defense, the way he plays on the back end. Top 10 in the nation in interceptions. He just has a feel and reads the quarter.
And it's caught inside the 15. How about this senior picking up some yardage and making a nice play on that one? And the Golden Gophers come to the line in the hurry-up. Motion from the wide receiver. Handoff from the gun. Trying to move the pile into the end zone. He'll be stopped at the 2.
Listen, you got to be able to know what play to call and what hole to go through. Like the line blocks for a certain hole. Good job getting through the hole, getting what was blocked, getting a nice positive gain, making your situation really good on the next down.
Looking downfield, it's Lindsey. Lets it go to the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota! Fitted in the window for the score.
And it's so underrated. The relationship between a QB and a wide receiver, the timing, the ability to know where he's going to be and be accurate with the football, that's what leads to nice touchdowns, Jesse.
Well, and the chemistry between these two guys has to be great when you're throwing into the end zone because coverage is going to be tight. The throw might not be perfect, but this is something these two guys have been repping in practice over and over and over, and it's paying dividends now on game day.
Oh, and he missed it. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Hey, guys, got a final score in a big CUSA matchup for you.
They've got it to a 2-possession game, but now going for the onside kick here in the 3rd quarter. That's why they call them the hands team. They're able to secure the onside kick.
Well, they try to go onside kick, but better job by the hands team falling on the football.
And Duke has the ball back, ready to go on the attack. That last possession, a prime example, Jesse, of how things get condensed in the red zone.
Hard to throw when the windows are smaller, and that's what happens down near the goal line, David. But for this quarterback here, just take accountability and ownership and come out here and lead your offense.
And move on. Like, we needed points. That's something that we can harp on. We'll watch the tape this week, but now it's time to move on. Let's get another drive going.
Quarterback making adjustments. And back to the air on 2nd down. Always a welcome play for the defense as they get a sack at the 47.
And the defense gets home and gets the quarterback on the ground. We heard all week how important this would be, protecting the quarterback. Last week, this defense had 4 sacks. They've done a nice job.
And the defense gets loose, bringing the heat, and down he goes again.
4th down, coming up. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score 35, Minnesota 20.
They already have a comfortable lead, up by multiple possessions, but they're going to go for it here on 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Oh, he dropped it. That deep ball was right on the money. You just have to make that catch. The decision to go for it does not pan out. Couldn't ask for better starting field position for this offense. Single back formation, and they give it to him. Turning it on. Picks up the first down. And he's brought down after a nice gain.
And running backs are so good, so talented, so elusive. You see nowadays they really have the ability to make you miss, run you over. Unbelievable effort. Nice job. You keep that going, you're going to be hard to stop.
First and 10, they're down to the 25. They'll ride the hot hand. Really good running, gets it into the red zone, and they'll have it at the 16. The Golden Gophers will hustle to the line. They'll run it to the right side. This time they stop him behind the line of scrimmage, and boy, that has been rare in this one.
That's a backbreaker if you're the offensive coordinator, because on the first down, you ran the ball, had a really nice gain. Short yardage situation, you just get completely blown up, and now you're having to probably dial up a throw on 3rd down. You need more consistency from the guys up front.
To the air, it's Lindsey. Grabbed over the middle, it's Coleman. He gets it so close to the first down marker, but I think he's going to be a touch short. Motion from the wideout. On 4th down, looking to pass. Takes a hit as he releases it and just spiked it right into the ground.
In the situation we're in, down 2 possessions, they obviously had to go for that one. Because they're not able to come up with it, it looks like they're going to be leaving this stadium with a nod.
Might be calling a hot route. He'll start this drive going to the air. And it slips through his fingers, incomplete. That would have been a huge gain if he could have held on.
And that's your goal. Separate man from ball. Try to get your shoulder in there on the catch point and really give him something to think about. Physically jar that football and knock it out. Nice job by the defender.
Makes the grab on the left side. And the tackle is made, but not before. That completion gets them 30+. After that last big gainer, they'll put it in play. 1st and 10 from their own 49. Unloads it left. And the physical play there forces the incompletion on 1st down.
Well, it's a great job by the back end of the defense that time, making up for what the front end of the defense couldn't do. The quarterback had all day to throw that ball, but it was the hit in coverage that
turns it on down the left side. Touchdown, Duke! And the stomping has commenced. They extend this lead, and it looks as if they are going to make it 2 wins in a row.
And this offense continuing to put up points. This game's out of reach. You know you're going to win, but still throwing the football, still finding that connection. I imagine there'll be some salty handshakes at the end of this game.
And he puts through the extra point. Kickoff unit back to work, and they have been busy as they built this sizable lead. Coming out with it, it's Hayes. Not nearly as much as he'd hoped when he brought it out in the end zone. He'll be stopped at the 15. Good news, I guess. A lot of room to work with as they start this drive from their own 15. Send the tight end in motion. Back to throw, it's Lindsey. Lets it fly. And it's his 4th interception of the night. Nice pickup on the return, but more important, they got the takeaway, and now they're in business.
And as a defensive lineman late in the game, man, when you know it's past, you're pinning your ears back trying to get to the quarterback, and DBs are trying to do this. Pad them stats, get the INT. Nice job by this D.
And the Duke offense heads back out onto the field. They'll come out on this drive and let it rip. Snagged in the end zone. Touchdown, Blue Devils. With that last score, things comfortable here in the fourth as they are headed to a 7-1 record.
Salt into her wound, right? Late in the fourth quarter, you can run the football, run this game out. No, sir. I'm going to continue to pad my stats, find my receiver out wide, and give me another touchdown.
Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. He'll take the return and try to improve the field position. And the returner is stopped. This drive will open from the 15. Off the play fake on first down, wants to throw. Nearly another interception. It'll be second down.
Well, this has been a day to forget if you're this quarterback. And I got to be honest, guys, I'm surprised he's still even in the game right now because he's had zero rhythm. He hasn't been accurate. He's thrown a ton of interceptions. Most coaches would have pulled their guy by now. I know the guy I played for back in college, he would have pulled me about 2 interceptions ago.
Nowhere close on that one as he got drilled trying to deliver the football, and now they face third down. Now this offense tries to figure out a way to move the chains after the second down misfire. Oh, they're after him. And the pressure gets him back at the 8-yard line. Coach has no choice here. The offense has to stay on the field, down multiple possessions this late. Fourth down attempt coming. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Lofts one deep down the right side. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers.
Man, that takes some serious onions. Backed up inside your own 10, and you're going for it on fourth down. No dice. Offense now set up in easy position to get a score.
He'll set up to throw. Touchdown, Duke! Grab the short pass to put the 6 on the board. They push out that lead a bit and draw much closer to a win here in Week 9.
Pure domination all game long for this offense. Whether they've been running the football, whether they've been throwing the football, critical down and distances, situationally all up and down the field. This defense has had no answer for these guys. What an impressive performance by the Oak.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And he made the extra point without problem. That's exactly what you want to do when you have that type of field position. Strike quickly, and they did. One play, and they put it on the board. And he takes this from inside the 5. And they'll get him on the ground as the offense comes out to start the next drive. First play of this drive comes from the 14-yard line. A little too anxious along that offensive line. That'll be a false start. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty.
Ready, fight. Gaucho.
To the air, it's Lindsey. And he got smacked just as he released the pass. It's incomplete. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. After the misfire, now on second down. Back to pass. Looking to take a shot. And they can't hook up. Going for the big play on second down. Now it's third down.
Well, trailing this much in the fourth quarter, the offense is looking for an explosive play to try to ignite them and get them back in this one, but nothing doing. Nice job in coverage.
And the Golden Gophers are way behind the sticks on this 3rd and forever. Looking downfield, and he needs a bunch. And it's incomplete on 3rd down.
Oh, and you'd love to have that play back if you're that defender. 3rd down, and you almost pick that off. That's a catch you need to make. If he catches that, that might be pick 6.
On 4th down, they'll pass for it. Got a man. It's Coleman. There he goes. He'll get a fresh set of downs, stopped at the 31-yard line. You always hear run the route deep enough to get the 1st down, but if you don't, you better fight your way there, and he did.
Yeah, nice job. Hey, listen, catch the football, understand 4th and short, the situation, and then go get that 1st down. Don't dilly-dally. Don't try to make a home run play.
And the pressure gets there, and down he goes at the 18.
And it's simply been that kind of day for this offense. They've had so many struggles, and at this point in the fourth quarter, you're trailing by a ton of points. The defense knows you're throwing it, and they're pinning their ears back, and they're getting after you, as you saw it on that sack there.
Dropping back, it's Lindsey. Looking to the big tight end. And that is his 5th interception, a nightmare he is not waking up from. Not able to get loose on the return, but what a play to put his team in business at the 33. And Duke has the ball back, ready to go on the attack. It's hard enough to stop these guys, let them going for it all. And give him another 6. Grabs him for a touchdown, and the blowout continues.
Points, and more points. This offense has had their way. They just keep their foot on the gas, keep putting up points, keep putting up touchdowns. And you know what? This is one of those stats days. You look back and you're like, that guy had 12 touchdowns on the year. Well, 4 or 5 of them might have been in this game.
To kick it off. You think this crowd's going to get loud when their defense comes on the field? Here he comes from inside his own 5. And they'll haul down the returner to start us on the next drive. Good news, I guess. A lot of room to work with as they start this drive from their own 15. Toss to the left. Shakes off the defender. Nudges ahead for 1 out to the 16.
And, man, the big fellas up front, they don't get a lot of credit. They don't get talked about a lot unless it's negative, but they're the big component, man. They've got to get some push, to get some running lanes, get this running game going. They're the ones that make it go.
Got the 1st down and more. All down, but he has enough to move the chains. Now on 1st and 10 from the 26. That will take us to the 2-minute timeout, and not much time left for this offense to put together a miracle. They've got the big fellas out there, a 3 tight end look on 1st and 10. Toss to the outside. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
And I understand what the offense is trying to do. Use the wide side of the field, right? Use all that space, pitch on the outside, get on the edge. But the defense was too disciplined. Great job setting the edge, not letting them get outside, making the big tackle.
That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball. It'll be 3rd and long. Now they'll run it on the toss. He's going to lose a yard on that one. That defender reacted immediately when he saw the play and just set his hair on fire toward the ball carrier.
And you got to see those plays. Those plays are very fast. It happens quick. There's no fake to a toss. It's pitching down the outside, trying to get to the wide side of the field. Great job by the defense. You got to set those edges by the defensive end, and everybody fly to the football.
If they don't convert this fourth down, there will be questions to be answered. The RPO, fire complete to the left. He's not going to get there. Stop short on fourth down.
Love the coverage on defense there. Fourth down, they were ready for the pass. You saw in the back end, great job being in position to make that play, and now their offense is coming on the field.
Might be changing the route. They'll move the tight end. Use the play fake, now to throw. Under pressure, and down he goes at the 33.
When it's a play-action pass, that quarterback, he really has to sell the fake. He can't tell his offensive lineman's getting beat right away while he's selling the fake. He had no shot.
He uncorks a laser deep down the middle. And he throws another interception, his third one of the night. And he is brought down after the interception, and the clock strikes 0 here in the fourth quarter. Guys, this is a really good win for this ball club as they put together consecutive victories.
And in this season, that's what you got to do. You got to put together good weeks, build on each other, build that momentum, continue to grow as the season goes on.
Yeah, David, it's all about building confidence, and it's really important for these players to go out, work hard in practice, and see that hard work really pay itself off on game day. This is a team that's really starting to believe in itself.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.